confidence boost type game for a bunch of guys that were kind of on the cusp of maybe breaking out, looking at Noel's goal, Diogo's goal as well. Just how important can a game like this be, just, moving things forward?
Yeah, I think I think we've become a better team. And like I said to the guys, if this game happened 6 weeks ago, there's a good chance that they would have tied it up at the end. And so I think the resolve of the group, the ability to stay in the game, and then performances and actually just plays. And I talk about making plays a lot. What does making plays look like? It's those 2 goals. It's not scripted. It's just quality in an area of the field that is very difficult to have quality in at times. And I think both those goals were fantastic. And I think the third one was really nice as well. Obviously, I think they said it was an own goal, but I think the actual movement, the play, was fantastic. So I think there's a lot of good performances out there. We knew this game was going to be very transitional given the way they play. And instead of sitting and waiting, we attacked it. We knew it was going to be open. And at the end of the day, it was a team that can make the most plays. And so super proud of the way the guys approached the game. And obviously still got some things to work on. But I think this kind of puts us in the right frame of mind, like you said, confidence. And now taking 7 points in the last 3 games, we're moving in the right direction. And we just got to double down on holding ourselves accountable to be the best version of ourselves we can be.
You mentioned not giving up that third goal, but they were close. That header right at the end from Klaus. I guess what needs to improve there on the defensive end after conceding that second one?
It's tough. I think Dom came into the game, and the game was the game. What the game required was really focused, engaged defensive actions. And if we did that, then we can win the ball, and we knew we were going to have space. And so I think the game was a little bit fast. We got beat on our right side a few times that led to some very dangerous plays. And so, again, for Dom, it's really about the learning and making sure that when you're coming into the game, and I said to him, I said, the defending piece is going to be the most important thing you do. So, again, the box defending is one thing, but it's really the defending outside the box that we got to get better at as a group to then snuff out plays or give the back line a little bit more time to adjust and find marks. So I would say that's an area that we need to continue working on.
My question is, were you surprised about the goal coming out for the set piece, and were you also surprised the way Klaus hit that ball?
The goals that we conceded on set pieces?
Yes.
Yeah, I think we switched to this zonal defending on corners, and tonight was the first night we conceded in probably 5 or 6 games on corners, and tonight we conceded 2. And I think the one negative about zonal defending is you have your most important defenders, the best headers of the ball in the best areas, but you have to attack the ball because, again, there's going to be players everywhere. And that second corner kick we conceded, it hits off someone's hands. And so you've got to win the first contact. So, again, some of the things that we'll look at. And then as far as Noel, he hits those in training sometimes, left and right foot, but that's a goal he'll never forget for the rest of his life. That's something that just etched in your mind, and hopefully he's got the desire to keep hitting those because he can do it. He's got really good technique, and it was a goal we needed to get things going in the right direction.
Yeah, my last question would be, we have Nelson kind of step it up and talking with Jay Glad in the back there and kind of like switching roles back and forth with each other. Is that something that you talk to them about? Is that something that just Nelson kind of just has been picking up due to the minutes that he's been getting?
No, that's something obviously that we've been working on. Anytime our center back is pulled out of position, we want to pivot to fill that spot. In this particular game, they had their 10 floating behind our midfield line, and they asked some real questions. If our pivot steps and there's a 10, that's 10 yards away from our back line. So it was really important that communication took place. Every play is going to look different. But I think Nelson's really grasped on to really thinking the game, where before he was just kind of playing free. Now he's really adapting to the tactical piece of the game. So really good to see from both those guys.
Pablo, congrats on the win. This is the 3rd game in a row that we see Johnny get that start. Is that something that you're going to see him set in stone with the start, or flipping back and forth between him and Dom?
Yeah, I think that's, we want to win the game, and I think at the end of the day, it's the player that's doing the best in that position. Right now, Johnny's the guy that first game he hasn't scored where he started. So, again, I thought he did a lot of good things. He's another experienced player, and I think our team needs a little bit more of that. I think Dom is working his way in. and not always easy for a younger player to come into a game and understand, get up to speed. But we'll see how it goes. I think Johnny's doing a really good job, and we'll just see how we go next week.
And then obviously with next week, you guys will have Diego Luna back. Seeing what he's done so far with the U.S. men's national team in Gold Cup, how big is that going to be with him coming back?
Yeah, I think it's always a tricky one, especially after they beat Mexico tomorrow. And I think he's been at it for quite some time without a break. So I think the most important thing for me is first to have dialogue with Diego, make sure he's in the right headspace. There's such an expenditure of emotion and just the physicality of playing all these games that are so meaningful for your national team. And obviously, he's in the best run of form that he's ever been in. So I think having experienced that, it works both ways. One, you get back and it's like, man, it's not the same. It's not the same. And there's a real component to that. So the most important thing is that he's in the right frame of mind to help this group move forward. If he needs to come into the game, we'll look at that. But my feeling is that Diego doesn't stand for that, and he gets in there and he rolls up the sleeve and he goes again. But I think it'd be remiss for me not to have that conversation with him. But just super proud of what he's been able to do, both with our team this year and with the national team. And he's in an unbelievable position to be one of the best players in MLS.
Pablo, congratulations on the win. 3 points are 3 points. Are you anything to be concerned about? It looked like a game that you had the opportunity to really kind of close it out and just kind of take control, but the turnovers and some play in the box. Any thoughts on what concerns you about this game?
No, the game of soccer is all about moments, and when they score off a set piece, it completely changes the psychology of our team and the psychology of their team. Right, I think, like I said earlier, I think there's a ton of areas that we can clean up. There was a bunch of giveaways when that actual play didn't provoke any threat to give the ball away, right? So that's just sharpness. And a couple times it happened when they were playing off of us a little bit, so we feel like really calm and really laxed. When the idea is your body's calm, but your mind is firing at 100 miles an hour. And so it's a bit of a dichotomy that you have to understand, that we want this sharp, we want chest up, eyes open, we want super big eyes, not calm eyes, slouch position, just because they're playing off of us. And so I think that's a good point, and that's more from a game management perspective. I think tactically we knew what we were getting into with these guys. We knew it was going to be wide open, and we knew it was going to be about the team that made the most plays. And fortunately for us tonight, we were able to do that.
What are your thoughts on Diego Gonzalez? He's had a couple of great games the last couple, and he looked really good.
Yeah, he's been awesome, man. He's been awesome. And I showed some clips from the last DC game because we thought they were going to apply the same type of pressure. And I was just reliving some of the plays that didn't come off, where he's playing Gozo through. He drops a little bit deeper and plays Gozo through. So it's been the first time, I think, in the last few games where Diogo's been playing with two guys ahead of him that run. And that's been a really a seismic shift in the way we've kind of attacked, where we've had a lot of possession and we're playing it across the top of the box. Now I feel like we're a team that can do a little bit of both, right? And I think Diogo's passing ability has been top. Today you saw him finish, so he's playing big time.
Last question. It's a broken record this season. Rafa Cabral being in the back there, he just made some amazing saves tonight. Thoughts on his play, and also the looks like he went down a serious injury, or he obviously kept playing, but
yeah,
thoughts on
I think Rafa has been a pillar within the group. He's a man that takes nothing for granted. I think he's the example of the group in the way he trains, demands so much from himself. And again, he was new this year. There was a big learning curve, but that's never stopped. His level of professionalism, his level of care for his teammates and this club, and he's got really high expectations for himself and us as a group. And I think you see it every game where he's just coming up trumps. He's always ready for the moment, and like I said, he's been the guy in the locker room that has taken the burden of putting the group in difficult times, owning it, taking accountability, and then week in and week out performing like he did tonight, which is 10 out of 10.
Can you talk specifically about the second half save he had on Klaus with one hand when Klaus really hit it hard?
Yeah, man. Again, DJ, I know you come out to training every now and again, but on Tuesdays, Rafa's flying across the goal and he's making these saves that are just like unexplainable. They're unexplainable, and I think on that save, what was also really, positioning was great, the stretch was great, but the strength in his hand. I mean, you heard that thing pop, you know, and I think, again, and this is what I keep talking to the group, is that the game of football is a game of 5,400 moments that you have to be ready for. And how do you do that? It's the way you train every day. It's the way you come into training and say, today I'm going to be great. And so, like, nothing surprises me with Rafa anymore. I think there's a reason why he played at some top clubs around the world, represented Brazil and with the national team, and so we were just so blessed to be able to have a player like him with our young group be the example of what it means to be a top pro.
You always talk about competition makes players play better and lifts their level. The fact that Johnny Russell's now competing for starting spots every week and getting them, and with Diego Luna's return looming, could we draw a line from those two things to the improved play from Diego? Not just the goal, but how many times he was dangerous?
Yeah. I mean, I think, again, I think Diego, he went through a tough time, and I think there's two ways you can go through tough times. You can drop tools, or you can show everyone what you're capable of. And I think he showed us in the last 4 or 5 games his level. You know, I think the decisions that he makes, and so, like, the calm he brings to us in the attack, the plays he makes with the ball as far as setting his teammates up, and then tonight was the icing on the cake where it was one of the nicest goals we've seen all year. And so I think that's competition. I think there's also this desire to keep pushing the envelope, man, just to keep going. And so I'm really proud of what Diego's been able to do. He's been a catalyst to our attack, and will continue to be moving forward.
You created a lot of chances. You scored 3 goals for only the second time this year. And for a team that's been bottom 5, do you feel like you're figuring that out a little bit?
Yeah. I mean, I think every game's different. I think last game we could have scored a couple more. Their players made plays on the goal line so, like, the only thing we can do is continue to work on what we do, knowing that there's always an opponent trying to thwart everything that we're going to do. And so, like, on any given day, we could possibly score 3 goals. But tonight, what I'm proud of is we took those opportunities, and we got, that third goal. Diogo got in behind the back line, and Gozo busted his tail to get in front of goal. And so these are the things that we're talking about, and it improves your chances. Even if you don't score the goal, if you get to the spot, you're asking real questions of the back line and the goalkeeper. And so that's all we can continue to do. The guys are doing great. And yeah, just really super proud of the group.
Will 3 games in 8 days give you a chance to kind of sort things out now, because you have Vera back, who's competing for a spot at center back? You could be getting 2 defensive midfielders back, so there'd be 4 players for 2 spots there. Luna adds an extra attacker.
Yeah, I think the guys are coming back into a group, and it's also when you come into the group too, that's really important. If you come into a group when you're not getting results, it's always difficult for these guys to come in. When you're in a good, 3 games where, we've accumulated some points, it's a lot easier. It's amazing. Injuries recover quicker, right? Mindsets are different. They want to now jump in and step on a treadmill that's already moving. It's a lot easier than having to motivate yourself to go. So I feel like, again, I said this earlier, where I think the difficulties we had in the first part of the season affected the group in a way that's provoked the best training sessions we've had and some of our better performances. So, yeah, getting these guys back, getting these guys healthy, and getting everyone competing the right way is the only way to move forward in the table.
Pablo, quería hablar un poco acerca de Diego Luna, que está teniendo una gran Copa Oro. Se ha visto el interés del Club América para este mercado de transferencias para que llegue. Ya se le habló con Diego Luna y dijo que sí, a lo mejor está esa posibilidad, pero aún no sabe. Para el Real Salt Lake es una pieza que es inmovible en este momento, que no lo quieren dejar ir para que se quede toda la temporada.
Mira, yo creo que con cada jugador la situación es diferente. Y lo único que puedo comentar es el Diego no hace, no hace que somos un mejor equipo si está con nosotros. Pero cada situación con jugadores, esos son por arriba, no puedo comentar en ese tema, pero como entrenador, yo creo que ha sido el jugador clave en la primera parte de la temporada. Ahora vas con la selección, está jugando de 10 puntos y ahora va a regresar con nosotros. Y espero que seguimos ganando, así cuando llega el lunes a mejor, si no necesita un poco de descanso. Pero para mí es un jugador clave que podemos armar el club alrededor de jugadores como Diego.
With every player, these situations are constantly different. It's hard to comment on situations like this, but as a coach, I can tell you that so far this season, he's been a crucial player to our team and for the season as a whole getting results.
Thanks, Pablo.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, Pablo.
So congratulations on your first MLS goal. Can
Thank
you just
you.
take us through the play and tell us what you saw?
Yeah, Pablo outswinging corner, and they didn't really properly clear it, just flicked it, came to me, just chested it and just went all or nothing, and luckily went in.
So does time slow down at that point? You came over, that was a pretty good celebration with the crowd. Does everything, have you got that frozen in your mind?
To be fair, I just talked to Delmy about it, and I already forgot it a little bit. I was just so worried about the rest of the game, because I wanted to, we just needed to win that game, so yeah, I blocked it a little bit, to be honest.
Yeah. You did win the game, and you got to feel pretty good about that. There was a chance to really put the game away and dominate, as opposed to just kind of surviving the end of the game. How did you feel the second half went?
Obviously, they got an early goal off the corner, which wasn't ideal. But I think we, after that, woke up again. I think the first 5 minutes were a little sluggish coming out the locker room. I think then we created again pretty good chances. The goal was beautiful, I think, good build-up play. Yeah, and I think the next step then for us is to, see out the game a little better. Obviously, they're extremely dangerous off set pieces, and I think it was registered as an own goal at the end from myself, the second goal. Yeah, we just gotta, I think, be a little more mature in these moments so it doesn't get ugly at the end. But I'm just half man oriented, so I was just focused on, I think it was Yarrow, I think it was, I was marking. And then I think the ball just went over myself and I actually came off my arm and just landed in the back of the goal. So it's yeah, didn't really know anything about it.
Obviously the goal, your first MLS goal with RSL is kind of the big moment, the big story, I guess, from this game, but 9 straight starts from you with the first team here. Do you find yourself kind of figuring your place out? Because I know you sort of went through a time with RSL where you were in one position, then another, moving around a little bit. Can you kind of feel yourself settling into the group?
I always said that wherever coach wants me to play, I'll play. So yeah, I mean, I honestly don't care as long as I'm on the field.
What's changing the last couple of weeks where, I mean, you are kind of excelling wherever it is on the field?
I don't know. I don't know. It's I don't really think anything changed, to be honest. It was just that there was an opportunity for me to play at right back. I think I did pretty well. I played actually a little bit in preseason. Did well back then in the 2 or 3 games I played there. And yeah, like I said, there was an opportunity. I think I took it. So yeah, as long as I'm on the field, I just want to play,
Noel, congrats on the win and the goal.
Thank you.
7 points in 3 games for you guys. Where's the confidence at and the mentality at in these past 3 games to get these results so far?
Yeah, I think we, coming back from the little break we had, and actually the game before, the DC game, Pablo said we need the 10 games we have left at home. We need 10 wins. That more likely will bring us in the playoffs with, I think it's like 45 points or something. And yeah, it's just, I think taking care of the games at home, I think, is the most important, because we have our fans, supporting us. Obviously, I talked about this a couple of weeks ago, the altitude. It's not easy to play here, especially now in the summer. Yeah, and I think once you build a little momentum, I think things will start to be, I wouldn't say easier, but maybe calls go your way. Suddenly we don't get any more red cards, which in the beginning of the year I think we had plenty of. So yeah, I think, like I said, things just start to go our way a little bit. Maybe a ref call, something like that, yeah.
Noel, so talking about playoffs and the position that we're in, how often does the locker room talk about the numbers? Like points needed here, points maybe dropping here, and how important is it to not dwell on that mindset?
Well, it's not like we don't talk about it like every day, but here and there for sure, because, I mean, at the end of the day, I think making the playoffs is the minimum. Now with 9 teams, and obviously the season we had last year, we for sure want to be in the playoffs again. We actually just talked in the locker room just now about it, Rafa, Jay, Glad, and me. But it's like I said, it's not like we talk about it every day, but here and there it comes up for sure, because, I mean, at the end of the day, that's what, like, we're not trying to focus ourselves too much, but that's what matters, right? Yeah.
And second question. Go ahead.
Last one. I think he's gotta go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You can go ahead.
Okay, last one. Okay, so last one. Sorry.
No worries.
Last one is 2 goals and 2 set pieces. What do you think defensively has to change to not concede that easy?
I think that defending set pieces is more of a mindset rather than like anything like tactically, or I think it's just that we have guys willing to put their head through what like another person's head. You know what I mean? Like maybe get hurt themselves. Yeah, I think it's just that the mindset to clear the ball, whatever it takes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thanks, guys.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
Enjoy some fireworks if they're still going.
Thank you. You guys too.
Guys, it's going to do it in Spanish. So when you ask your question, give Ben enough time so you can translate. He'll answer, then Ben will translate.
I'm going to try and ask in Spanish. Felicidades por el gol. ¿Nos puede hablar un poco en cuanto al sentimiento, la celebración del gol y lo que significa este gol para usted?
No, fue muy importante también por dedicarlo a un ex compañero que jugué con él, todo el dolor de su familia, de sus amigos, y bueno, fue un homenaje para él.
It was, of course, an important goal that was dedicated to a former teammate of mine, dedicated not only to them but also the family and friends. So it was special.
¿Qué tan importante es un partido así cuando puedes meter gol y también asistencia para tu confianza en adelante?
No, yo creo que intento siempre hacerlo mi mejor para ayudar al equipo. Tuve la gracia de hacer el gol y asistencia, pero lo más importante fue ganar el partido.
I attempt to do my best each game, to do whatever I can to help the team out. Today was a goal and assist, but I just try to help out the team whatever way I can.
Diego, hemos visto mucho cambiar como tu personalidad en estos últimos juegos, donde te has vuelto más, ¿cómo se dice? Como más en carácter en apoyar al equipo, mediante sea con pases, con asistencias, con goles, y también hablar con ellos en dónde moverse y todo eso. En lo personal, ¿qué crees tú que ha cambiado mentalmente para poder ver más de eso de ti?
No, de mí no cambió nada. Simplemente estoy haciendo mi trabajo, estoy jugando más libre, estoy procurando la pelota y eso es que lo quiero hacer, estar feliz en la cancha, que es lo que me hace más feliz.
Nothing's changed in me. I'm playing freely as I ever been, and again, absolutely changed. I'm still doing the work that I've been doing. Things are just starting to work out better now.
Congratulations on the goal. I think you just kind of answered that question. Do you feel like you are finally rounding into some decent form? You had a great game today, and how do you keep heading in that direction?
¿Sentís que estás empezando a encontrar tu forma y cómo seguís manteniendo esa forma hacia adelante?
No, es lo que digo, yo trabajo todos los días, siempre de la misma manera desde que llegué aquí. Una vez sabemos que esto es fútbol, unas veces las cosas salen como queremos, otra vez no salen, pero hay que seguir trabajando y creer en nosotros mismos.
Again, nothing has changed in me. I work every single day in the same way since I arrived. Sometimes things don't go your way, but we just keep working and moving on.
What do you think it's going to take for Real Salt Lake to continue and find the answer to make the playoffs this year?
Para usted, ¿qué sería lo importante o lo necesario para conseguir una plaza en los playoffs?
No, lo importante es seguir haciendo lo que estamos haciendo. En 3 partidos hicimos 7 puntos en 9 y creo que estamos en buen momento y hay que seguir trabajando igual, buscando el gol y no concediendo goles también, pero creo que estamos ahora en buen momento, el equipo está jugando muy bien y está confiante y creo que eso es lo más importante.
You know, we just have to keep playing the way we've been doing the last couple of games. We got 7 points in the last 9. We need to keep searching for the goal and just keep moving forward and securing those results like we have been in the past couple of weeks.
Salvo tu gol, hubo algunas acciones de contragolpe también que al equipo quizás le faltó un poco más de velocidad. Ya cuando estaban llegando a la última línea, ya había muchos jugadores de St. Louis ahí. ¿Crees que es algo que hace falta también mejorar un poco, el aprovechar las segundas opciones y también los contragolpes que tiene el equipo a su favor?
Sí, claro que deberíamos aprovechar mejor las oportunidades que nos dan, pero bueno, sabemos que está caliente, que es muy difícil jugar así en estas condiciones, pero lo más importante es los 3 puntos y ganamos.
We need to take advantage of the opportunities that we have. We know it was super hot outside and it's hard to play under these conditions, but we got the 3 points, which is the most important. We need to keep going like this.
Gracias.
Gracias.